The world woke up today to another tense update from one of the most dangerous flashpoints on the planet. In the vast and unpredictable waters of the Arabian Sea, a symbol of American military dominance continues to operate under the shadow of controversy and speculation. At the center of the storm is the USS Abraham Lincoln, one of the most powerful warships ever built. A nuclear-powered aircraft carrier weighing nearly 100,000 tons, capable of launching dozens of fighter jets in minutes, and representing a floating city of more than 5,000 sailors and airmen. But today, this massive war machine is no longer just a symbol of power. It has become the focal point of one of the most dangerous geopolitical confrontations of the modern era. And the question that continues to echo across military command centers, intelligence agencies, and newsrooms around the world is simple yet terrifying. Was the USS Abraham Lincoln actually hit? Yesterday, media outlets connected to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps made a bold and shocking claim. They stated that Iranian missile forces had successfully struck the American aircraft carrier operating near the Strait of Hormuz. According to the report, the missile strike caused significant damage and forced the carrier to halt operations temporarily. If true, it would mark the first successful strike against a U.S. aircraft carrier in modern combat history. But almost immediately, officials from the United States Department of Defense pushed back. Their statement was brief and firm. The carrier, they said, was fully operational and conducting routine missions. Missiles may have been launched, they admitted, but none came close to hitting the ship. Two completely different narratives, two powerful nations, and somewhere in between them lies the truth. Today's satellite imagery has only deepened the mystery. Commercial tracking data shows the USS Abraham Lincoln still operating in the region, but analysts have noticed something unusual. The carrier appears to be moving more slowly than expected and is maintaining a tighter defensive formation with its escort ships. Within a carrier strike group, these escorts include destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and supply vessels designed to protect the carrier from missile attacks. Military experts say such formations typically tighten after a potential threat or near-miss incident. However, the Pentagon insists this is normal defensive maneuvering. While the carrier controversy dominates headlines, several other incidents across the Middle East suggest a much larger conflict may be unfolding. Earlier this week, an American logistics vessel operating in the Persian Gulf caught fire after what officials described as a hostile maritime incident. The ship was not sunk, but the attack delivered a clear message. Modern warfare isn't just about destroying major warships. Sometimes the real target is the supply chain. Without fuel, ammunition, and spare parts, even the most powerful military can grind to a halt. The tension soon spread beyond the sea. Reports confirmed that a Boeing KC-135 Stratotanker operating over Iraq crashed during a mission. These aircraft are the backbone of long-range air operations. They allow fighters and bombers to stay in the air for hours longer than they normally could. Without them, entire air campaigns become nearly impossible. Officials from United States Central Command acknowledged the loss of one tanker and damage to another aircraft. Iranian-aligned groups quickly claimed responsibility. If confirmed, the incident would mark a dangerous expansion of the conflict into Iraqi airspace. To understand why the alleged attack on the USS Abraham Lincoln is such a massive story, you have to understand what an aircraft carrier represents. It isn't just a ship, it's essentially a floating air base. Carriers can deploy advanced aircraft such as the F/A-18 Super Hornet, electronic warfare aircraft like the A-1AG Growler, and radar command planes like the E-2D Hawkeye. Together, they form a mobile military force capable of striking targets hundreds of miles away. This ability allows the United States to project power anywhere on Earth, which is exactly why damaging a carrier, even slightly, would be such a huge psychological victory for Iran. But modern warfare isn't fought only with missiles and fighter jets. It's also fought with information. And both sides understand this very well. If Iran convinces the world it successfully hit a U.S. carrier, it changes the global perception of American military invincibility. But if the United States proves the ship is completely unharmed, the claim collapses instantly. So far, the most decisive evidence, the live video feed of aircraft launching from the carrier deck, has not been released. That silence continues to fuel speculation. There's also a major geographic challenge facing U.S. planners. Much of Iran's territory lies far beyond the comfortable range of carrier-based aircraft. Cities deep inside the country, including the strategic hub of Mashhad, are difficult to reach from ships operating in the Gulf. This limitation has revived discussions in Washington about the need for forward bases closer to Iran. One location repeatedly mentioned by analysts is Bagram Airfield. Years after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, some strategists now see the loss of that base as a major strategic setback. Today, another dramatic statement emerged from Iran's leadership. Officials warned that any country hosting U.S. forces in the region could be considered a legitimate target if attacks on Iran continue. This message was clearly directed at Gulf states like United Arab Emirates and Qatar. If even one of these nations were to ask American forces to leave, it could dramatically reshape the balance of power in the region. At this point, military experts say the conflict could move in three different directions. First, a fragile diplomatic de-escalation. Behind closed doors, negotiations might slow the cycle of attacks. But given the rising tensions, many analysts believe this outcome is becoming less likely. Second, a prolonged limited war. Airstrikes, naval confrontations, cyber attacks, and proxy battles could continue for months or even years. The conflict will remain contained, but constantly dangerous. Third, and most frightening, is a full-scale regional war. If the Strait of Hormuz were closed or heavily mined, nearly one-third of the world's oil supply could be disrupted overnight. Such a scenario would send global energy markets into chaos and could trigger a worldwide economic crisis. Right now, the world is watching the waters of the Arabian Sea, watching one ship, watching one symbol. The USS Abraham Lincoln is more than just a carrier. It represents American military reach, alliance commitments, and global deterrence. If that symbol is ever truly damaged or destroyed, the geopolitical shockwaves could reshape international security for decades. For now, uncertainty remains. Missiles have been launched, claims have been made, denials have been issued, but the full truth may still be hidden somewhere beyond the horizon. And the next 48 hours could determine whether this crisis fades away or becomes the opening chapter of a much larger war.